my alarm just went off and messed everything up. So if I then said, so both of those expressions have the same meaning, more or less. So your brain will kind of do a combination of the two of them, all right? It will try and blend the two expressions. So be careful with that. So I've heard people with this trust business go, right, faire confiance à, avoir confiance en. So you can guess what happens. I've heard faire confiance en or avoir confiance à, and, weird combos, okay? But we're very, very specifically and cleanly having avoir, what's the first one that will come up? Because normally in word reference recently, the first one that comes up you have to go with as being the main one, the most common one. But on this one, you hear both. So what's the first one that you see? You do see faire confiance à. So faire confiance à. So what that would therefore mean would be that you've got to remember that when you use the faire method, that you're coming out of there with an à. Or you're going to be indirect. And when you use the avoir, you'll be coming out of there with an en. So I don't know what would be a silly way of thinking about it. There's only one version with an A letter in every version. Faire confiance à, avoir confiance en. That would be quite good. So I used to trust him. Je lui faisais confiance. Yeah? Or j'avais confiance en lui. There's subtleties between the two. I sort of always feel if it's a permanent declaration about a relationship, like, oh, I trust him. I don't know, but then in just saying that then, when I said I trust him, my brain went with je lui fais confiance. But j'ai confiance en lui is like I trust him, and je lui fais confiance, like right now I'm trusting him to do this. There are other ways of saying I can count on him, as you've already seen. Je peux compter sur lui. There is obviously also confier, which is the verb to trust, like to trust an object to someone else. Okay, that exists as well. But so in other words, what's particularly great about these two expressions is it just sums up a lot of good stuff for people when they're coming up the ranks and they're getting a lot better. Number one, it's teaching you phrasaling, locutions. Number two, it's teaching you to be experts and spot that there's nothing to be scared of. If you see like a big combo of blah, 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 I shall do that one more time, blah, 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 in the middle of it, you will have a verb that you recognise. And you've just got to conjugate that verb and keep the stuff on either side. Remember, most of these phrasal verbs that you're going to come across, the position of the other bits and pieces isn't going to change around the main verb. So, for example, if we had, like the one I gave you, je lui en veux, I to him of it want, if you wanted to make it into something, I resent him, je lui en veux. I resented him, je lui en voulais. I would resent him, je lui en voudrais. Yeah, okay. I had resented him, je lui en avais voulu. The je lui en isn't going to change. The position of the other pieces isn't going to change. The only time you're going to have to change anything is if you're going to have reflexives coming in, or, so for example, I resent myself, I'm annoyed with myself, je m'en veux. He resents himself, il s'en veut. You'd obviously have to make a reflexive work for the appropriate person. So, I trust you. Je vous fais confiance. Or, yeah, it really is that. Je vous fais confiance. So, je vous fais confiance. You might go, well, Luke, where is the at version in that? But it's I to you. So, je vous fais confiance. Or, j'ai confiance en vous. I know that you're going to practice this video and you're going to practice them out loud. All right, good. So, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you do enjoy this video, can I remind you, I do have a coffee account and I very much appreciate the coffees, especially at the moment. It keeps things going, which is when you basically buy me a little coffee for a couple of bucks, couple of pounds. Also, my podcast, which explain all the grammar from the beginning up to advanced. You end up being able to do reflexive, subjunctive, pronominal, colloquial expressions in the past and in all tenses. From nothing. It's basically at half price at the moment because we're still kind of in Corona lockdown. So jump on that while you can. I will speak to you guys soon. Take care.